Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So I decided for today's lesson, we're actually going to do day 4 again. We're just going to do a few different questions. So I found these online. I did take pictures of them. So I'm going to upload the 3 questions that I'm doing. So you can either see them there or you can just kind of read them. I have them handwritten here. And you can try them. So I'm going to do 3 questions, and then I'm going to send you all pictures of the 4 questions that I want you to try. And the 4 questions that I want you to try basically match up the 3 that I'm going to do. Okay? So the first question I'm going to do, this Harper question, it's going to match up with your questions that you're going to try solving for the final amount, question 1 and 4. Okay, so this question right here that I'm doing is going to correspond to questions 1 and 4 that you're going to do on those other questions that I'm going to upload for you. So for this question, it says, Harper uploaded a funny video of her dog onto a website. The relationship between the elapsed time, D, in days since the video was first uploaded and the total number of views, V of D, that the video received is modeled by the function. V of D equals 4 raised to the 1.25 times D. Okay, so this is an exponential equation. How many views will the video have after 6 days? Which means we're going to take 6 and we're going to plug it in for the value of D and we're going to solve it. So for this one, we're going to have V of D equals, we're going to have 4 raised to the 1.25 times 6 in our exponent. Okay, so now if you notice, we're not solving for our exponent. We have a number there. So we have a number. I can plug this whole entire thing straight into the calculator. I don't have to divide anything out. I don't have to change it to a log. This is a straightforward question. So I'm going to take 4 raised to the... Now you want to be careful. When you have 2 numbers in your exponent multiplied, you never want to do open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. So you don't want to ever separate them into 2 separate parentheses because you will actually get the wrong answer in your calculator. What you want to do is just open up one parenthesis, do 1.25 times 6 in the same parenthesis, and then just close it out. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 raised to the 1.25 times 6. So it says V of D equals 32,768. So 32,768, round to nearest hundredth. We didn't have to, there was no decimal. Okay, so that's it, straightforward. Okay, pretty much plug it into the calculator. So like I said, this one will correspond to the question that you're going to try, questions 1 and 4. So this corresponds to questions 1 and 4 that you need to try. Okay, next one. After the closing of the mill, the town of Sawyerville experienced a decline in its population. The relationship between the elapsed time, T, in years since the closing of the mill and the town's population, P of T, is modeled by the function. So our function is P of T equals 12,000 times 2, and now it's raised to the negative T divided by 15. So it's raised to a fraction. So this one's going to correspond to number 3 that you need to do, okay? So it says, in how many years will Sawyerville's population be 9,000? So remember, the population is this P of T. So that means 9,000 is going to go on the left-hand side. And then we have 12,000 times 2 raised to the negative T over 15. Okay. Our exponent is a variable. So we are going to have to turn this into a log. We cannot do that yet though, because our base is not by itself. Now, the exponent here, the only base is the 2. So I did notice a few people did make the mistake, and I did send you a picture of my work. So hopefully if you did make the mistake, you saw my work that I sent you. You cannot multiply these 2 numbers together. Only the 2 is raised to this exponent, not the 12,000. So the first thing we need to do is divide out that extra number. That 12,000 number, we need to get it away from the right-hand side. So we do 9,000 divided by 12,000, which is 0.75, equals 2 raised to the negative t over 15. Okay, now this is Ben. I'm going to change it to log B and E. So the 2 is my base, the fraction is my exponent, and the 0.75 is my n, or my number. It's Ben. I'm now going to change this to log B n equals E. So let me follow. I got log, my base is a 2, my n is the 0.75, and then that's now going to be equal to negative t over 15. Now, remember this whole right here to the left? The whole reason why we changed it to a log was now we have log number, and we now can plug this into log base in the calculator. So if you have a calculator on your computer, or if you downloaded the Calculator X app, you now would go to alpha, you would go to log base, and then you can plug that straight into the calculator. Okay, so when you plug it in, log 0.75 divided by log of the base. You end up with negative 0.415, so negative 0.415 ... There's more numbers to it. Equals negative t over 15. Now, normally at this point, this t is normally multiplied to something, so we normally divide it out. Right now, we have division. So, to undo division, we can multiply, right? So, if I multiply this side by a 15, I would multiply this side by a 15. So now you're going to take that really, really long decimal and times it by 15. So it's negative 6.2255 ... equals negative t. And then the last thing is obviously we never want a negative in our negative variable. So since they're both negative, the negatives will just cancel each other out by dividing the negative out. So t equals, round to the nearest hundredth, so 6.23 years is your answer. Okay, so this will correspond to the one that you need to try, that is number 3. It'll kind of be the same thing. It'll have an exponent that's a fraction, so follow the same thing. Hold on one sec.
I don't want my training anymore.
Okay.
On my bike.
Okay. I'll be there in a minute, okay?
No, outside.
Okay, I know. I'm doing something right now.
No, off.
Okay.
Like over.
You need to learn how to ride a 2-wheeler then without training wheels.
Okay.
My daughter doesn't want her training wheels anymore. All right, then we got one more. So, Carlos has taken an initial dose of a prescription medication. The relationship between the elapsed time t in hours since he took the first dose and the amount of medication m of t in milligrams in his bloodstream is modeled by the function. So we have m of t equals 20 times e raised to the negative 0.8 t. In how many hours, so that means we're solving for t again, will Carlos have 1 milligram of medication left in his bloodstream? So that means our m of t is the amount of medication. We're going to replace it with a 1. So 1 equals 20 times e raised to the negative 0.8 t. So it's very similar to the one we just got done doing, okay? We are solving for an exponent, which means we're going to have to change this to a log. We cannot multiply these two things together, okay? The exponent is only attached to this base. The base happens to be an e. So we got to get rid of that 20 first by dividing it out. So 1 divided by 20 is 0.05. So we have 0.05 equals e raised to the negative 0.8t. So this is now Ben. We're going to change it to log B and E. So log, my base is an E, my N is 0.05, and that's equal to the exponent, which is negative 0.8t. Your left-hand side now becomes a number. You go to the log base, you plug it in, your base can be an E. So log 0.05 to log E. So you get negative 2.9957 equals negative 0.8t. And now the other one that had the division, this one now has these two being multiplied, so to undo multiplication, we would divide. So divide the whole entire number by negative 0.8, round to nearest hundredth. The time it will take is 3.74. Is it hours? Yeah, hours. Okay, so this one's going to correspond to number 2 that you're going to do. Okay, so with the first one I did for you, Harper, is going to correspond to questions 1 and 4 that you need to try. The mill question is going to correspond to question 3 that you need to try. And then the prescription with Carlos is going to correspond to number 2. Okay, as always, well, I'm going to upload those 4 questions for you onto Teams. And as always, just send me a chat if you have any questions. A few of you have. And I've either answered for you or I've sent you a video and showed you how to do something and it seemed to help out. Okay? All right, have a good day. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.